Hey everyone, I finished watching the next episode of Power Rangers Time Force: The Time Shadow. It's alright. This is a pretty basic, standard episode. There's not really anything too amazing about it. It's a decent episode, it's really good. But yeah, it's like not like anything really amazing or whatever. It's really weird for Time Force early on. Like, there's a lot of episodes. If this was like any other season, this would be a standout episode. This would be considered like, wow, that was really good. But for Time Force, it's just kind of like, it was alright, but I mean, there's way better ones coming later. So anyway, it starts off with Mr. Collins, Wes's father, is showing some people around, I don't know, a lab or something that he owns. He shows them this giant battle tank with a huge drill on the front of it. And then, anyway, he's showing people around, and then from outside, this mutant breaks in with all these cyclobots, and they're fighting their way through up to some lab room, and there's this machine with this yellow powdery stuff coming out the other end, and for some reason the mutant wants that powdery stuff even though it's just waste. It's not actually valuable to anybody in the present. So anyway, the Rangers break in, they rescue the people, they fight the mutant. The mutant grows, summon the Megazord, and then there's a weird thing. The monster apparently planted bombs around, anticipating the Megazord showing up. Okay. Anyway, the bombs go off, the Megazord's blown up, and I I guess the mutant just leaves. They don't really give any kind of or do they? Now I can't remember what they do with the mutant in this episode. Like, the bombs go off, the Megazord is. Or did they blow up the monster? Now I can't remember what exactly they. If they did anything with the monster. Whatever. Moving on. The Zords are damaged. They're sent back to the future for repairs. And then we see a scene where there's some mysterious guy wearing sunglasses in the future. He's in this high tech computery room. He's testing out this new Zord. And then back in the present, 2001, Frax is plotting against Ransik. Let's see, he's got the yellow powder that the mutant got, and let's see, oh yeah. Then it cuts to the Rangers. The Rangers are wondering why he wanted the powder in the first place, and then Circuit finds out that the powder is used in the future to create trizerium crystals, which I think is a word that came from Star Trek. Is trizerium a real word, or is that something that Star Trek made up? Well, anyway, Jen is apparently like a historian in this episode, and she like immediately knows trizerium crystals shouldn't be discovered for another like 200 years or whatever it was she said. Okay. So anyway, that could cause a bit of a time issue. Then again, we're about to encounter a major time issue, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Frax has succeeded in turning the powder into a crystal. He's energizing the crystals to power a robot he's built. And then there's a weird bit. He sends the robot out. The Rangers go to face the robot. So Frax sends the robot out. And then for some reason, yeah, the Rangers show up. They face the robot. And then for some reason, the robot has one of those little patches he pulls off. And that makes him grow. But earlier on in the series, when the monsters grow, like the whole patch thing, when they rip the patch off, so the monsters, when they rip the patch off, supposedly it's exposing mutant DNA. I don't know how that's supposed to make them grow or how that works at all, but whatever, that's the explanation they give. Mutant DNA makes them grow. So how does the robot have mutant DNA? Why does he have biological components? Why does Frax install biological components? Later on in the series, it's pretty clear he doesn't like biological life forms. Why would he put them in a robot? Whatever. The robot grows, and the Rangers call for the Megazord, but the Megazord can't be sent back because they're not done with its repairs yet. It's in the future, though. Couldn't they, like, make a note or something when they called, so then when it's completed, send it back to that time when they called them? Like, how does... Okay, looking through my notes here, um, So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Um, oh, and also, like, what about Circuit? So could Circuit contact them further into the future, like when they are done, to have them at that point send the thing back? Like, why are they locked into one's? Like, I don't know. I guess that provides a limitation. Otherwise, they could just do whatever. Maybe that's why they can't just go back in time to, like, I don't know, before Rancic came back in time. Maybe that's why Alex, or whoops, I don't want to reveal that yet. Um, Whatever. Anyway, oh, since they can't get the Megazords back, Mr. Collins sends out that big tank from the beginning of the episode. The tank comes out, and then it's immediately destroyed. Okay, bye. That was real helpful. And then a new Zord shows up, the Time Shadow, and Circuit doesn't recognize it at first, but then somehow the Time Shadow sends him information. And then he knows what it is, he knows about it, but he still doesn't know who sent it. So then after the robot's defeated, the Rangers are back at the clock tower, and they contact Time Force in the future, and they're asking about the Time Shadow, and Time Force in the future says he doesn't know who sent the Time Shadow, that it wasn't them. So that's a really weird little mystery, and that's, yeah, that's where my notes end. So it's a fine episode. I don't really know what to say about it. It's a pretty standard one. The only like major weird thing is the whole time travel issue. Like, how exactly does time travel work? Like, they send the Megazords into the future to be repaired, then they call for them later, but they're not done yet. So, is like what's going on in the present parallel to the future or something? Like, I don't know. It's confusing. I don't get it. Whatever. Is that kind of thing where you're just not supposed to think about it, I guess. Like, time travel is complicated. Oh, and now I'm remembering that Sins of the Future Time Force comic book and how just completely confusing and bizarre that was, because that made its own rules completely separate from what was established in the show. Whatever, that's not what I'm talking about. Um, this is fine. Oh, yeah, and also, I don't know what happened to the monster at the beginning. Did he get blown up and they didn't put him in cryostasis? Huh. They just killed another monster. They did last time, too. We don't ever see them put him in cryostasis. So whatever. Anyway, that's all for this one, I guess. Don't have much to say about this one, so yeah, see ya.